Do you drag yourself to work and have trouble getting started? Do you lack the energy to be concentrated and productive? Are you so tired that you can't do anything at all after work? If you are answering yes to these questions, you might be burned out, exhausted both emotionally and physically. Workplace burnout has already been recognized as a legitimate medical syndrome, occurring from excessive and prolonged levels of unmanaged stress. In other words, burnout is what happens when you avoid being a human for too long. It's interesting that the term burnout was originally used to describe a rocket which is out of fuel. It will still be moving, but it's basically useless. And that's what happens to us in a stressful job. Many people are really afraid to admit being burned out, and they wouldn't want to ask for help. They fear they might be seen as weak, so instead of acknowledging or managing this stress, they respond by maybe even working harder. We often consider that being exhausted, frustrated, anxious form part of a standard working life which comes with a paycheck. But if getting to work feels like it requires a superhuman strength and you literally have no energy for anything else, you can't brush off these red flags as a normal work stress. Because it will lead you into more stress, lower energy state, demotivation, and other much worse burnout symptoms. I'm Marat from EMMOTION, and after years of experience in corporate HR, I've seen what a work burnout looks like. Here I share 5 common signs indicating that you are burned out at work and a few tips on what to do. If you are not subscribed to my channel yet, then definitely hit the subscribe below and enable the notification bell so you won't miss out my weekly content. Also tap the like button if you are ready to proceed. The first sign is actually quite common when you can't get excited about work anymore. Even those projects that used to make you feel alive now leave you feeling completely depleted. You don't get any satisfaction or thrill at all about anything work-related. This attitude of indifference will also extend beyond your work and negatively impact different aspects of your life outside of the office. If you've lost enthusiasm for everything which used to energize you, this is a huge red flag. And not only for a burnout, but it might be also a sign of a potential depression. The next sign is the lack of effort. Do you feel like you can never catch up on your to-do list? You are feeling that your work is no longer important. The lack of excitement, which I previously mentioned, often leads directly to a negative attitude. You just don't care anymore. You go to work and you end up doing a bare minimum to get by. If you've always been a high achiever, this is a huge contradiction to your usual approach towards work. With loss of productivity, you may feel useless or ineffective, which would translate into not caring or making effort outside of work either, and even into not taking care of yourself in general. The next sign would be cynicism and lack of patience. Your work performance is suffering, but at the same time, the burnout isn't recognized or treated, and we eventually suffer depersonalization. You start showing cynicism, a lack of empathy and patience. For example, let's say you are a customer care professional. You might begin to treat customers with rudeness. Ask yourself whether you've developed a negative outlook on work or a negative attitude in general. Do you get mentally checked out of the meetings? Are you feeling disconnected and isolated from your colleagues? This disconnection and negativity might also result into conflicts at work because everyone seems to be getting on your nerves. Impatience is a symptom of an underlying stress and anxiety associated with burnout. Sign number 4, you are totally exhausted. Exhaustion and fatigue are commonly cited indicators of burnout. You not only deal with the lack of energy physically, but you also feel emotionally depleted and drained. You feel like you have no power or control over whatever happens in your life. You feel stuck or trapped in this situation. If you are struggling to get out of bed or have extreme lethargy, you need to take this seriously and start making changes in your life. And the next sign is insomnia and other physical symptoms. Burnout doesn't have exact same physical manifestation for everyone, but the most common physical complaints are anxiety and insomnia. Does your workload feel so overwhelming that even if you are constantly tired, you can't get a full night of sleep? This chronic stress causes physical symptoms that make you feel unwell, like headaches, increased and frequent cold or illness, heart palpitations, dizziness, forgetfulness, stomach issues. If you are experiencing these physical symptoms alongside with other signs which I mentioned in this video, it's a clear indication of your burnt out state. Now, what can we do about burnout? Some would typically recommend taking some time off work, but I think this isn't the solution because you'll eventually have to come back. You are still the same person at the same job. So instead of removing yourself temporarily from this situation, you need to actively work on changing it. And that would be changing your work patterns, for example. Try working less hours and taking more breaks as soon as you note the signs of a burnout. Avoiding all the overtime and investing more time into your personal life will make your job significantly less stressful, and the potential burnout could be avoided. Of course, many people can't afford changing their work patterns, so this next strategy comes in, and that is building resilience. It's a process of adapting well to adversity and bouncing back from difficult experiences. Building resilience is a unique experience for each person, but there are certain aspects which definitely help with it, and that is developing relaxation strategies, for example. Working on your mental health by finding ways to relax and to release stress. From learning breathing exercises, trying yoga and meditation, to discovering a hobby or a passion outside of work which works as a therapy for you and which might bring you joy and fulfillment. A healthy diet, getting at least 7 hours of sleep, and exercising would also be very helpful while maintaining your overall physical and mental health. And make an effort to connect and spend time with positive people, which uplift and support you. And of course, limit contact with those who bring you down. If you've been trying to get out of this situation for a while, but it hasn't been working out, it's now time to seek professional help, even if you think you don't need one. Thanks for staying with me till the end. Let me know what has been your experience in dealing with burnout. I would appreciate if you thumb up the video. It motivates me to keep making more content for you. Don't forget to subscribe below and see you in my next video coming up.